in London, we decided that the next European Social Forum will take place in Athens.
Well, I feel very happy because I was one of the people that believed that we could organize it. A year ago, I thought, well, maybe there is a big problem, maybe we won't be able to do it.
Since the beginning, a forum needs rooms, needs translations, needs website, needs a lot of things like that.
We have started as a team 14 months ago, since it's a huge project.
Anyone who's not attended yesterday's meeting, we're doing a quick one at the bottom of, at the back of the, over there. English, French? Ok. Essayez de vous organiser entre vous aussi pour pas trop travailler, mais vous allez beaucoup travailler.
My name is Gregor Seither. I'm German, but I live in France, and I'm actually French also.
Il y a deux options.
So here right now, I'm interpreting, and I've done the planning, and I ended up being the one handling the planning issues. Because I never said stop, but if you, at any time in BABELS you can participate in any process for as long as you want, as long as you can. You can help for 1 hour, help for a month, help for a whole year. So.
What is BABELS exactly?
It's a non-existing entity called a network. People can be 11,000 people, which is about the number of Babelistas we are at the moment, or 2 people wanting to do something specifically at one stage.
So when did BABELS start?
2003 in Florence. Unofficially in 1999 in Seattle, because there's always been a need for interpretation, and up until 2003 it was either not done, either done on a completely unorganized base, or it was delegated to paying translation offices. So every time you say, can we have interpretation, people say, oh, we can't afford it. So we said, let's try to make it affordable, so people who don't have the means can have the way to speak their own language, whatever their language might be.
We're not from the organization, we're just lending a hand, nothing more.
Are you excited about the forum?
Yeah, sure, I think it's a great idea. And we're very lucky that it came to Greece.
Actually, oh!
Oh, shit! Yeah, it's a shame. Anyway.
The basic idea of the social forum is to build a space where people come in, discuss, go out and organize campaigns. That was the idea, and you can see it behind the word, behind the lines in the Porto Alegre Charter.
At the beginning it was very simple, it was a cooptation. That means that in Brazil, 8 organizations decide to be the organizers. And they select the groups who will be members of the International Council. And after that, this group, selected group, select the other one. And it's an auto-select group who create the International Council. It's not an election, it's an auto-selection by the core group from Brazil, and little by little more and more. Okay, that's create a lot of tension. You see what I mean? In Europe, we have another way to do the things. It's an open assembly.
Typically, the social forum, typically by the Charter of Porto Alegre, cannot take decisions, cannot decide that we will have a campaign, on the 5th of September against privatization of health systems. This is the idea, that social forums are not bodies that can decide. They're only spaces where people meet and discuss. Because the people that organized the World Social Forum were against political parties, thought that political parties had terminated, they were not able to organize anything anymore, and they thought that this wasn't time for organizing campaigns and counterattacks, but was a time to discuss what is happening. It was a counter Davos. The first Porto Alegre was counter Davos. And then we saw that this was getting bigger and bigger, and then people understood that we have to take decisions on doing things.
English Is there an English available? English interpreter available? A language English? We're not just a service provider like the people who bring the chairs. We are political activists doing a political work. So decisions are taken by consensus on a general discussion, which means sometimes it takes some time, a little bit long to take some decisions. It's very horizontal, so it has all the advantages of horizontality and all the defaults of horizontality. The practice is that, as always in a horizontal decision, in a horizontal group where there's no clearly marked hierarchy, the hierarchy congregates by itself. The one who is most available, the one who has more time to devote to the organization, the one who's at every meeting, the one who lives in the same city as the other people holding the meeting, ends up being the informal hierarchy. So last year in Porto Alegre there was a 2-day meeting just on that, where they said we have to break that. We have to completely redistribute horizontally the organization.
How do you select the translators actually?
Well, again, through an open process, we get requests from about 3 to 4 months before the forums. The local forum sends us the submissions from speakers, which allows us to set up vague programs. And then we start calling for volunteers on. We have a database, and we look at that and we say, okay, oh, he's volunteered, and here's A English, B Turkish, for instance. Good, we need one, let's take him. BABELS is funded by the social forum, so they're basically paying the tickets. But we have the same status as a delegation member, basically. Delegation members who are invited to the social forum, like people from Brazil or José Bové or whatever, when they arrive, they get they get lodging, food vouchers, and we said we don't want to be paid, we want to have the same as them. We have to wait for the forum to get going, organized, because they are the ones giving us their money. And I insist on that, they are the ones taking the decision. It's your forum, you do it. We can help you, but we're not going to do it for you. So if you fuck up, okay, you fuck up, but it's your decision, it's your work. And,
This is Christophe Papadopoulos. I'm Aleka Kresopoulou. We are both members of the Finance Committee. We started off with a small group of about 100 people, both men and women, of course.
Ένα χρόνο πριν κοντά.
About a year ago.
Προοδευτικά με τις ανάγκες που παρουσιαζόντουσαν,
and
φτάσαμε τα 500 άτομα.
We reached 500 people that are members of the organizational committee.
Φυσικά αυτές τις μέρες που στείνεται η γιορτή είναι πολύ περισσότεροι.
And of course these days, the people that are taking part in this in the organization are many more. There are 4 committees.
Που πέφτει η μεγάλος όγκος δουλειάς και η μεγάλη ευθύνη.
Which undertake the greatest load of the work.
Είναι η Οργανωτική Επιτροπή,
the Organizational Committee,
η Επιτροπή Διεύρυνσης που προσπαθεί να βρει τις επαφές και να προσκαλέσει με τους οργανώσεις από την Ανατολική Ευρώπη και τα Βαλκάνια.
It's the committee that invites people from Eastern Europe and the Balkans.
Υπάρχει μια τρίτη επιτροπή, η οποία είναι τα οικονομικά, που είμαστε κι εμείς.
The Finance Committee.
Υπάρχουν 2 ομάδες που έχουν μια αυτοτελή δραστηριότητα, που είναι τα BABELS και τα ALIS.
2 groups which have an autonomous action, BABELS and ALIS. The alternative interpretation system, which is being applied for the first time now.
Spain. Germany. You have a card.
Πώς παίρνει μπρος αυτό? Έχει φύγει. Έχει γίνει νεκρό και αυτό.
It's your first social forum?
No, it's not my first social forum. Hey, I'm an old woman. It's my... How many social... My fourth social forum.
Okay. And what are you doing here at the forum?
I'm voluntary, offering myself for the solidarity of, for the sense of solidarity of the social movement.
And what exactly do you do here?
Many things. We're trying to register people, to organize seminars, to bring chairs, to put announcements. It's a lunatic, but it's a wonderful lunatic.
And how is it going so far, the forum?
So far it goes very wonderful, very good. Of course there are problems, but hey, what the heck. This is the mentality that brought us out of the caves. Despite the mistakes, we go on, you understand? But so far it goes wonderful. And
can you say something about the problems? What kind of problems come up?
For instance, now we don't have electricity out of nowhere. And if people come and won't find their names, it will be difficult for us. But that's the true story, as you said. So it's life.
We have no governmental funds. Our funds have to do only with people, organizations, syndicates, and local municipalities. We have a budget that has already been released.
Ένα προσωρινό.
It's temporary.
Φανταζόμαστε να μην τον υπερβούμε πολύ.
We hope that we will not exceed the limits. It is there for everyone to see in the program. The budget is for about 800,000 euro, and we hope that it will not exceed 900,000 euro. The biggest part of this amount of money has to do with BABELS, ALES, and the solidarity groups. We think that about 40% of the budget will be covered by people and organizations. 20% comes from the syndicates. About 10% comes from the municipalities and prefectures. And we expect the rest to come from the sales of the different memoirs which are being sold here.
If the budget is being exceeded, who is going to pay for it?
He will go to prison, but it doesn't matter. Εάν υπερβούμε τον προπολογισμό, τι γίνεται?
Προσευχόμαστε.
We are praying. We hope that the syndicates and organizations that members of the movement will contribute enough so as some of us won't have to spend the rest of our lives in very closed areas, very restricted areas.
How decisions are taken?
It was, of course, public, complicated, but very transparent. The proper word is consulta from the